Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and immediately felt anxious? Nothing has happened yet. No email, no conversation, no disaster. You haven't even brushed your teeth yet, and your nervous system is already acting like the day kicked in your door. If you've ever wondered, why do I wake up anxious every morning? This video is for you. Because morning anxiety can feel confusing. You wake up with dread, your chest feels tight, your stomach feels off, your mind starts racing, and then your brain starts doing what anxious brains do best. It opens an investigation. Why do I feel this way? What am I worried about? What's wrong? And now it is 6:12 in the morning and court is already in session. But here is the part most people miss. Morning anxiety does not always start in the morning. Sometimes it starts the night before. When you get into bed physically tired, but mentally still open for business. You replay what happened that day. You think about what you should have said. You worry about tomorrow. And then, for no helpful reason whatsoever, your brain decides to review a decision you made in 2014. Like, thank you, but I was actually trying to sleep. Not prepare for a congressional hearing on my entire life. So sometimes the question is not just, why do I wake up anxious? Sometimes the better question is, did my nervous system actually ever stand down last night? And then morning comes. You check your phone, emails, texts, news, work problems, Monday, dread. And now your nervous system is like, see, I told you were in danger. So you are not waking up anxious because you're weak. You are not waking up anxious because you are broken. And you are not waking up anxious because you are bad at handling life. Your body may be starting the day in threat mode before you even had a chance to live the day. And the goal is not to magically wake up calm every morning. The goal is to stop handing anxiety the keys just because it showed up early. In this video, I'm going to show you why morning anxiety happens, what makes it worse, and how to start taking back control before anxiety hijacks your whole day. Let's talk about what morning anxiety actually feels like, because it's not always a full panic attack. Sometimes it's just dread, that heavy feeling before anything's even happened. You wake up and your brain immediately starts scanning. What do I have to do today? What did I forget? Who needs something from me? What problem is waiting for me? And apparently your brain has decided sunrise is the perfect time to begin threat assessment. You may feel it in your body first. Tight chest, stomach off, jaw tight, shoulders tense, heart beating faster than it needs to be. And then your mind tries to explain it. Maybe something is wrong. Maybe today's going to be bad. Maybe I'm behind. Maybe I can't handle everything. And now your brain has taken one anxious feeling and turned it into a full morning staff meeting. This is where people get stuck. They think they need to solve the feeling before they can start the day. So they lie there, thinking, analyzing, checking how anxious they feel, trying to figure out what caused it, which sounds responsible, except now anxiety has somehow become the project manager. And the longer you lie there trying to solve it, the bigger it can feel. Because anxiety loves attention. It loves monitoring. It loves when you keep asking, why do I feel this way? But here is the truth. You do not always need to know the exact reason before you move. You do not need a full explanation before your feet hit the floor. And you do not need anxiety to approve your morning before you start your day. Sometimes the first win is simple. You notice the anxiety, you name it, and you stop letting it decide whether the day begins. Because morning anxiety is loud, but loud does not mean in charge. Now let's talk about why this happens. Because morning anxiety can feel random. You wake up and think, why do I feel anxious? I have not even done anything yet. But your nervous system does not only respond to what is happening right now, it responds to what it thinks is coming. It responds to what you carried from yesterday. And it responds to how much recovery you actually got last night. Which is rude, honestly, because sleep is supposed to be the reset button, not a background app for replaying every decision you ever made. One reason you may wake up anxious is stress carryover. You went to bed with your mind still running. You were replaying the day, thinking about what you said, what you should have said, what you have to deal with tomorrow, and for some reason, what you did at a random lunch in 2014. Very important work, apparently. So even if you technically slept, your nervous system may not have fully stood down. Your body rested some, but your brain kept the office lights on. And if your brain never really closed yesterday, morning does not feel like a fresh start. It feels like the next meeting. Another reason is low margin. When you do not sleep well, anxiety usually gets louder. Your patience is lower. Your body feels more sensitive. Your thoughts feel more believable. And suddenly a normal workday feels like a boss fight before breakfast. And then there is anticipatory anxiety. That means your brain starts reacting to the day before the day has even happened. You think about the meeting, the email, the conversation, the deadline, the thing you've been avoiding. And your nervous system says, great, let's panic now so we're prepared. But panic is not preparation. Worry is not preparation. Bracing all morning is not preparation. It just burns energy before you've even started. This is why morning anxiety can feel so unfair. Your body is reacting like something's wrong. So your mind starts looking for proof. And if your mind looks hard enough, it'll find something. A deadline, a bill, a conversation, a text you need to answer. Congratulations, your brain has now created a morning scavenger hunt for danger. But the feeling is not always proof that something is wrong. Sometimes it's proof that your nervous system is activated, and that is a very different problem to solve. Now let's talk about what makes morning anxiety worse. Because sometimes the anxiety is already there, but then we accidentally pour gasoline on it. And one of the biggest ways we do that is the phone. You wake up, you grab your phone, you check your text, you check your email, you check the news, you check social media. And now, before your feet have even touched the floor, you've invited your job, your problems, your relatives, and the collapse of civilization into your nervous system. That is a brutal way to start the day because your brain is already scanning for danger. And your phone is very happy to provide evidence. A message you have to answer, a problem at work, an email with too many words, a news headline that makes you want to move to a cave. And suddenly your nervous system is saying, see, I told you you were under attack. Another thing that makes it worse is lying there and analyzing it. You wake up anxious, and instead of starting the day, you start cross-examining the feeling. Why do I feel this way? What does this mean? Is today going to be bad? Am I getting worse? And now anxiety is not just in the room. It has a microphone. The more you monitor it, the more important it feels. The more important it feels, the more your brain treats it like a threat. That does not mean you should ignore your anxiety. It means you do not need to make it the CEO of the morning. Another thing that makes it worse is rushing. You woke up late. You're already behind. You're trying to get ready, answer messages, think about work, and somehow become a fully functioning adult in 7 minutes, which is a bold request from a nervous system that just woke up screaming. And then there's the Monday effect. For a lot of people, Monday morning hits different. The weekend ends and the pressure comes back. The calendar gets loud and your brain starts acting like Monday's not a day of the week. It is a threat with a coffee mug. But here's the big one. The thing that makes morning anxiety worse is treating it like you cannot move until it goes away. That is where anxiety gets control. If you wait to feel calm before you start your day, anxiety gets to decide when your day starts. If you wait to feel certain before you move, anxiety gets to decide what you avoid. And if you wait to feel ready, Anxiety gets to keep moving the finish line. Very generous of it. So the goal is not to wake up perfectly calm. The goal is to stop giving morning anxiety executive authority. It can be present. It can be loud. But it does not get to run the meeting. So what do you actually do with morning anxiety? Not the fake answer, not just wake up happy. Very helpful. Thank you, Inspirational Coffee Mug. The real answer is this. You stop trying to make anxiety disappear before you start your day. And you start teaching your nervous system that anxiety does not get to drive. I call this the morning reset. And it starts before the morning. Step 1, close yesterday better. Now, does that magically mean you stop thinking at night? No. If you could do that, you'd probably not be watching a video about waking up anxious. Closing yesterday is not about pretending today was perfect. It is not pretending that tomorrow is not stressful. And it is not forcing yourself to feel peaceful on command. It means you create a shutdown signal, a way to tell your brain, this day is closed. We are not solving tomorrow from this pillow. We are not reopening every conversation from today. And we are definitely not reviewing some decision from 10 years ago like it's breaking news. That might be writing down what is still open. That might be deciding what gets handled tomorrow. That might be saying out loud, I am done for today. Not because your brain will immediately agree, but you are training it where the boundary is. Step 2, protect the first part of the morning. This is huge. Do not hand anxiety your phone before you've even entered your own life. No notifications first thing. No emails first thing. No news first thing. No work emergency courtroom before your feet have even hit the floor. And your nervous system does not need subpoenas before breakfast. I used to check my phone as soon as I woke up. And if there was a problem, an emergency, a message I had to answer, or some terrible news, my anxiety would take off. So now I don't check notifications until after my morning routine because I'm not giving the world the first vote on my nervous system. Step 3, regulate before you react. That may be meditation, breathing, prayer, water, light, a walk, a workout. The tool can vary, but the goal is the same. Calm the body before you start arguing with the mind. Because arguing with an anxious brain at 6 a.m. is usually not a fair trial. Step 4, make the first move anyway. This is the part people don't always want to hear. Some mornings, anxiety's still going to be there. You may still feel off. You may still feel tense. You may still feel a little wave of dread. But do not wait for anxiety to leave before you start living. You get up. You do the next thing. You move your body. You start the routine. You take the first controlled action. Not because it instantly fixes everything, but because every time you move with anxiety there, you teach your brain something important. Anxiety can be present, but it is not in charge. That is how this starts to change. Not by winning one perfect morning, but by repeatedly proving that anxiety does not get to decide how your day begins. By the way, I'm Vinnie Merz, a high-performance anxiety coach. I help ambitious professionals stop anxiety from sabotaging their success, their confidence, and their peace of mind. If this video hit home, I want you to really think about this. If you keep waking up anxious, dragging it through the day, and then going to bed replaying everything all over again, that is not just a rough morning. That is a loop, and that loop will wear you down. It steals your sleep, it drains your focus, it makes you more reactive, it makes normal problems feel heavier. And then at night, your brain reopens the whole case. What did I do wrong? What do I have to deal with tomorrow? What if I cannot handle it? And for no reason, let's bring back that decision from 2014 again. Very important, absolutely critical to review at bedtime. That is why this is bigger than just a morning routine. You do not just need a cute checklist. You need to understand your pattern. What happens at night? What happens when you wake up? What triggers the spiral during the day? And where does anxiety keep taking control? Because if you do not deal with the pattern, it keeps repeating. Bad night, anxious morning. Reactive day, overthinking at bedtime. And then, congratulations! Your nervous system has renewed the subscription, but you can start changing that. You can learn how to close the day better. You can learn how to protect the first part of your morning. You can learn how to handle anxiety when it shows up during the day. And you can learn to move forward without waiting to feel perfectly calm. Now, I'm not going to pretend I can solve your entire anxiety pattern in a YouTube video because I don't know your exact life. I do not know your triggers. I do not know what you're carrying into bed. And I do not know what your nervous system is bracing for when you wake up. But that is the exact kind of pattern we can work through in coaching. Not by giving you some generic morning routine, but by looking what is actually happening in your life, where anxiety keeps taking over and what needs to change. So if you're tired of waking up anxious, dragging it through the day, and ending the night back in the same mental courtroom, schedule a free 30-minute strategy session below. We will look at what is driving the pattern, what keeps repeating, and whether coaching is the right fit. The link is below. Take the next step. If this helped you, subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Friday with practical tools to help you take back control. No fluff, no theory, just what actually works. Remember, the goal is to not wake up perfectly calm every morning. The goal is to stop handing anxiety the keys just because it showed up early. Anxiety can be present, but it does not get to run your day.